Oh, thank you, Irene. I see you sent a gold mine. Wow. Good gracious. Okay, Irene, are you sitting there? Are you ready for me? Phew, Irene. I go back looking at your past lives, and there's a period where you had a whole lot of lives close together. You know, because we're reborn many, many lifetimes. And there's a whole lot of things that happened to you in very, very eventful lives. It's like, you know, trying to walk through the crowd at a rugby match or a football match where everybody's just, you know, milling around like that. So what I can see there is that for some reason you were eager to learn a lot in a very short space of time. I'm not sure why your soul decided to have those many lifetimes, but then I see quite a long gap in time between the lives that followed on from that very, very busy period. Okay? So I'm seeing that there was a very busy period in a couple of 100 years in a life, and in another couple of 100 years in another life. So I get the feeling that whatever you went through in those years was quite something. From what I can see, is in those lifetimes, it was a time where there were a lot of wars and battles and disagreements, and I'm seeing from tribes to countries. So you were experiencing war in many different aspects. Yes, and I see the last war that you were involved with. I just see when people started using cannons, yeah, because the noise I can hear that you came from that from those lifetimes with a dislike of war and a dislike of loud noises. Do you experience this in this lifetime? Okay, all right. So from what I see in those lifetimes is that you were always involved, and this is now the war things, always involved in conflicts that weren't your business, but that directly influenced you. And so in the lifetimes that were quieter, you actually chose lifetimes where there was not going to be a likelihood of war in order to just, you know, like let give your soul and your spirit to rest, to have an uneventful life. There seems to have been lessons learned in dealing with conflict and how not to deal with conflict. Do you find that you handle conflict better in this lifetime, or do you feel like you still have something to learn about it? Okay, yes. And so a lot of the times, I think when you're in a conflict situation, there's probably this thought in your mind that needs to be made aware: is this really my battle to fight? Yeah. And isn't there a better way to deal with it? That's the feeling I get, that this might be something that you have to, or that you can work on in this lifetime. Is first to establish if it's really your fight, and secondly, if it's worthwhile fighting, and thirdly, isn't there a better way to deal with it than with a conflict? And something that I do see is that some people that were a part of that lifetime with you have been drawn to you again in various ways. Do you have younger children in your family, Irene? Do you have children, or are there younger children in the family around you? Because I get the feeling that there are people who look up to you and want to follow your example. And I don't know if you're aware that the way that you deal with things, yes. So they look up to you, so that the way they're learning from you from that time, they've been drawn to you, and they are learning to deal with conflict by your example. Okay, so it's very much a learning situation for them and for you. Okay, because you were always, in those lifetimes, I saw, always a victim of the conflict in some way, whether it was family conflict or wars in the community. So it's very important for you to be able to establish what's really worth fighting for, and what you should rather just walk away from. Because that's the feeling I get. Those other lifetimes in between were like your walk away lifetimes. You had choices where you didn't get involved. Yeah. And I see some of those lifetimes were very close to the church, almost like living like a nun or a monk, where you needed to be safe to do something important, but not where you were involved in direct conflict, right? Oh, and I can see that you're not shy to stand up for what's right, right? So you've got a lot of courage. It's just you really don't like having to, get really fighty. Look, it's very possible because I saw lifetimes that were very tribal, and it could be Africa. It's very quick. I didn't take a deep dive in this, so I can't really identify the country. But if you have an affinity with a country, then it's very likely that it's part of your cellular memory. Yes, and in one of those last lifetimes, you were actually killed in the conflict. Okay, so it probably has made you more of a peace lover in this world, although you're willing to fight but you'd rather find a peaceful solution, right? Yes. And these little children that are yours now, you lost them in a previous lifetime. So when you died, you were taken out of your family, and the love that was there in that family has actually drawn you guys together again. Okay. So, and this feeling of that these children, they've always felt like they really belong to you, not like, oh, this is a baby, what do I do with it? Like you find that they have a special place in your heart that goes almost deeper than just normal motherly love. Okay, so there you go. So this lifetime is really important for you to create that safe space for your family so that you can catch up on the relationship that was taken away from you then. Yes, so it was stolen from you. So you've got them now. It's like you've got your treasured people back with you. So you're certainly going to be just creating a great space for your kids. Yeah, especially the second one. Yes, and when there's a past life connection, you actually there's something deeper because it's just not like anything else. So yes, yeah, they waited for you. They did wait for you. So yes, yeah, you have a wonderful second chance, and I'm sure you're going to make it work nicely this time around. Oh, thank you so much for sending that request.